Hello, it's Dr. Ray. Thank you for joining me on this webinar. So the name of this webinar is Advanced Law of Attraction for Career and Money. So it's also about connecting to your path, why you're here, what your song is, and so forth. And if you periodically see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes so I can follow along with what I want to teach. So like my other webinars, this is more of a casual conversation in which I'm talking to the camera and connecting to you. So I hope that you find a place where you're quiet and you're able to watch this entire video and then come back to it and do the exercises. And this is something you can do now and later on, meaning that after you get through the course, you can go through all the videos again. I'm sure you're going to get something new from them. One thing you'll see in most of my work here is that I go much deeper. It's not things on the surface, whereas that is the byproduct of it, meaning the great career and the money and so forth. It's really about changing your vibration within. And so one thing that I try to teach people is by teaching them how to tweak certain things within their body and their unconscious mind so they start perceiving things differently, so they start vibrating differently. In other words, see, for example, you know this already. Sometimes you have thoughts about particular things, and then one day you realize you're wrong, or it was different, or something shifted. All the work I do is for that to happen through conscious awareness. So what I'm trying to say is that most of your thoughts have come through default, through what you learned, through your culture, through your parents. Being around people who talked about their career, about their money. If finances were always stressful growing up in your home, then you maybe have that cognitive blueprint of fear of not having enough. You're always kind of in that survival mode. If you saw parents who just had a job to get by, then maybe you're taught that that's what work is all about. It has nothing to do with it being connected to your path and your calling. Or it could be where it was parents who worked a lot. You never saw them, so you've become a workaholic. So this program here is to help you identify what you want. So with that being said, I want to start off with the first question. That is, where did you form your perceptions regarding money, career, and having your own path? Where did you form those thoughts, those first early impressions? So this is an exercise that I would like you to do. So I want you to close your eyes. Just take this moment to get into a comfortable position and close your eyes. And first you're going to hear me say this, and then you're going to pause the video and do this exercise. So keep your eyes closed. What did you witness as a child regarding money, success, career, and having your own path? What did your parents say about their careers? How they felt about it? What did they believe? How was money growing up in your home? What was the relationship like with money growing up? What was the takeaway from the conversations? And when I say relationship with money, some people are very fear-based, and they come from I would say a poverty mentality. And then there are those who talk about it in a very abundant way. How were your parents? What was your environment like? In your culture, what was going on? Depending on where you live, that could have impacted circumstances. Now that you've heard these questions and you've heard my voice, I want you to push pause and write down what you witnessed as a child right now. Okay, now that you see where you form these perceptions, let's talk about cognitive commitments. And what is a cognitive commitment? So basically, you have formed mental models of how you perceive relationships, money, your career. And this is something to think about for a moment. How often do you think about being happy making money, being happy being at a job. I mean, of course, you want to do something that you like, but more often people don't think about being happy at work. They see work as work. So that might be a cognitive commitment. Cognitive commitments are basically, again, perceptions that we form based on a particular idea. It doesn't mean that it is true, but we've come to believe that it is true. And I'll give you an example. So when I was younger, my parents, we had dogs, and then I ended up having like bad allergies and asthma, and they got rid of my dogs. And I don't know if it was just excuse. I found out later on maybe it was more my mom, but my father used to say to me all the time when I ended up moving out that a dog needs a big yard. A dog needs to be able to run around. And, you know, I believed that, and I deprived myself from getting a dog, from getting a rescue dog, from, you know, getting a dog who wants love. I actually believed my father, and then one day it came to me when we were in a conversation in the kitchen, and I said, that's false. I mean, there's dogs in the pound right now about to like die who would want to be in an apartment, would want to be with a master, someone to love him or her. So that would be a cognitive commitment. Here's another one which impacted my health. When I was really young, and I remember playing with this cat, and at the time I probably was allergic, but maybe not that bad, but the cat was an outdoor cat, and was like kind of on a farm, and it was dusty, and I was itching my eyes, and my eyes got really red and swollen. It would look like maybe I got hit. And I went to the doctors, and what they told me was that I was lucky, and if that had ever happened again, I would go blind. I actually thought that. I believed that. So out of all the health challenges, as far as I no longer have asthma, I no longer have allergies to most things. What is the one thing you think I've had the most challenges with? Of course, cats. I mean, because as a child, I mean, they instilled this fear in my psyche that I could go blind. So I remember going to people's houses, and just the moment I would see like maybe cat toys, I would start having challenges. Whereas I could go into a home and not be aware for a little bit, for a while, and I wouldn't have challenges until later on because of the dander. But again, a lot of it was this, I guess those cognitive commitments where my body would just go into this alert and I would sense danger. So those are cognitive commitments, and we all have them regarding our career, our relationships, our path. So now that you know where you possibly formed your belief, it's very important for you to create your own affirmation, your own thoughts about money, your own experience. And we're going to get more into this in the video. However, what I like to do is clear any negative energy and beliefs that have to do with your career, your path, and so forth. So for example, if you have a tendency to think from a scarcity mentality, you might have an affirmation that says, I'm an abundant man in an abundant universe. If you just say you grew up seeing a father work himself to death, basically, you might say that I'm learning to find joy in all that I do. Whatever the affirmation, if it has to be something that resonates with you, that feels good, that you believe it. If you don't believe it, then scale it down. In other words, you need to have the mental equivalency, meaning it has to be something that registers in your body as believable. So for example, if you've never owned a home, saying that, you know, I look forward to attracting a mansion, you might not, your body might not be able to accept that. But by being able to say that I'm manifesting a home in my dreams, that might fit more in your body now. Do you understand what I mean? So I want to do an exercise with you. I'm going to show it to you. And again, you have to come up with an affirmation. And I'm going to give you on a handout some actual ideas of how to do that. They'll be on the guide to come up some on your own. But this is what you do. So I'll give you an example. It's really important for me to live a passionate life, to do something that I'm passionate about. My father grew up during the Great Depression. My parents worked really hard. So fun and passion was not in their work. So my affirmation that I said, which I guess was like something I had to program in my body, was that everything I do, I'm passionate about. Now, even though that might not directly relate to work, work is a big part of who I am, my path, it's my calling. So what you do is watch how I do this, okay? So first off, I stick out my thumb, just like that. I have my eyes on it. I keep my head still, and I start with left or right hand, doesn't matter, and I say the affirmation out loud, and that is, and I keep my eyes focused. I don't have my eyes doing this or my head doing this, and that is, everything I do, I'm passionate about. A figure 8. I'm gonna do a little smaller so you can see in the camera. So basically, I want to make sure you see my hand on camera. So basically, I'm doing a figure 8, like this. So I'm passionate with everything I do. And my eyes watching this. I'm passionate with everything I do. Everything I do is passion. I say it out 5 times, then 5 times silently. Okay? Now switch hands. My right hand. Everything I do, I'm passionate about. Everything I do, I'm passionate about. And I'm breathing in my body, I'm feeling relaxed. Everything I do, I'm passionate about. And then 5 times silently. Then I bring it together. Everything that I do, I'm passionate about. Everything I do, I'm passionate about. Everything I do, I'm passionate about. And then silently. Okay? So again, it's a figure 8. I'm trying to do this, but it's a figure 8. Trying to watch myself do this in the camera is harder. I just realized that. So you're having this experience with me. So this is how this works and why this is so effective. And I want you to start doing this at least one time in the morning and one time in the afternoon. It will only take you a 1.5 minutes. The left hand activates the right hemisphere of the brain, the emotional part of ourselves. And the left part of the brain activates the right hand, which is the more linear. And then when we bring it together, it brings both hemispheres together. The eyes, keep them still and have them go down, up, in the middle. When the eyes are down, that's connecting to more feelings. When it's in the middle, it's more auditory. And when it's up above, it's more visual. So you might learn better visually, or you're more auditory, or you're more kinesthetic, you feel. So this is to get everything. So I want you to start doing this exercise. And again, this affirmation is for you to have some positive mantra, some positive affirmation that you say that counteracts any negative beliefs that you grew up with. And make sure it's in the present. Make sure it feels good and it absolutely is positive. So what song is inside of you? What makes you feel alive? And what I mean by that is we all have a purpose. We all have a calling. And some people say, like say mothers or parents, they might say it's here to take care of my kids. Or an artist might say it's to paint. That might be part of it. It might be an extension of that. When I talk about your song, I'm talking about your existence, something that just makes you feel alive, that this is why you came forth. I mean, and I'm not saying that you don't love your kids or you don't love painting. I'm talking about something that doesn't have to do with just something external, something outside of yourself, just like your message, your existence, why you've come to be, everything about you, what people love about you, what is your song, and what makes you feel alive. And this is going to lead us to our next exercise, because the thing is that a lot of times as children, we end up having these passions, and they're squashed by adults telling us that you can't really make a lot of money doing that, or there's so many actors out there, or something. Now, it's not so much about the career that I'm concerned about. It's more about getting back to being imaginative. It's about being just excited about something. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you can be passionate about writing music. I mean, writing music is the byproduct of passion and excitement. But if you don't have those creative juices in you, it's never going to happen. And if you're trying to embark on a new career, if you're trying to make things better at your current job, or if this is just about you understanding yourself and your path, then this is a great exercise. And this is finding your passionate inner child. So here is the exercise. I want you to close your eyes, and what you're going to do is you're going to hear me talking and asking these questions, and then you're going to push pause, and then you're going to write down the exercise, write down what I ask. So close your eyes. What was your favorite childhood toy? What did you love playing with? How did it make you feel when you played with this? Whether it was a toy or a game. What was your favorite movie as a child, and why? Who were you in the movie? Why did you like the characters? How did it make you feel? As a child, what did you want to be and why? Like, what really compelled you? What made you excited about this job, or the dancer that you saw, or the person being a police officer? What was it, behind that? What was the energy? What was the passion? Get really clear with that. Can you identify a turning point when you stopped believing you could do anything? And it might be when you became a teenager. It might be when you just saw things didn't work out from one of your parents. But there's a turning point that we all experience, that sometimes we shut things off. Did you have one of those? When did you stop believing you can do anything? Are you doing anything in your life now that you dreamt of as a child? Are you doing anything in your life right now that you dreamt of as a child? Something that actually excited you, that you knew that you'd be doing this? And keep in mind, maybe you wanted to be a musician, but you still actually play periodically. You pick up the guitar, but you're still doing something you enjoy. What do you need to change to start dreaming of unlimited possibilities again? What do you need to change? And get really clear with that. Like, again, you might say, I work too many hours. What can you do to shift that? It might be that you might say that you take care of kids. It's just really hard. I know this, that when you connect back to your passions and that child mind where you could do anything, you can move mountains. And the universe will start yielding to that desire, and that will start building up the passion and also help you attract more of what you want. So what I want you to do is I want you to push pause and write down what came to mind in this exercise. And you can also read on the guide those questions. So take this time and push pause. Now that you've written this down, there's another exercise that I want you to do. And so that is, if you heard about vision boards, it's usually about what you want as an adult. And we're going to get to that. I want you to create a vision board for when you're a child. And it might be a ballet dancer. It might be, maybe you want to be a professional football player, or I know I'm making a lot of generalizations, but when we're children, we somehow, we think of these celebrities or people we see on TV. I want you to create a vision board from a child's mind, and in this vision board, it would be things that really fuel you, that make you happy, that excite you, that make you feel like you're playing again, like there's no boundaries, and just you can actually connect to emotions. Now, when you do this, and it's also on the handout you have, is that there's key principles in creating an emotionally charged vision board, and the images should evoke strong emotions. It is important to, I guess you say, have a personal connection to the images, like it evokes something. It should evoke different senses, like it makes you feel something. Visually, it stimulates you. You're connected to just different sensory perceptions of your body. So go through, and again, as you're watching this, you're not going to be able to create a collage as far as a vision board, but this is going to be an exercise you're going to do after you get done watching the video. Now, this is a vision board, and that I made. This is more for my adult self, but this will give you an idea if you don't know what a vision board is. So if you can see this here, so you can actually see my picture here. Here's Bono, and here's Sting, because I admire them. And you have Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer, and you have Tony Robbins. So I actually have this right up above my computer, and I do look at this, and I don't stare at it all the time, but it kind of reminds me to stay in alignment with this. Also, because I'm a musician, and I really admire Police and Bono because they're humanitarians and they're just really good guys. They're fathers like myself. It reminds me to be like a rock star of love, and I know I'm different than Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra. I have a different personality, so it stimulates me. I feel good when I see this. So your vision board and we're going to get to another one later on this video, for a child's mind, it might be pictures of children playing and going down a swing. It might be children playing in the park. It might be something that is a cartoon drawing. It doesn't matter, but when you see it, it reminds you of just when you're that child and filled with imagination. So how do I become more confident and radiant? So you can't become more confident. You already are. In other words, you have beliefs that you are not, or because you're not able to do something as well as someone else, then you feel bad about yourself, and then you create these barricades that feels like separation. I'm not as good as them. I'm not as confident as them, and so forth. But confidence is not something that you might get good at something, but if you're still comparing yourself with others, if you don't have the inner awareness about yourself, even when you're really good, you will not have confidence because you're still comparing yourself to others who might be better in a different area. I'll give you an example. I wish I probably was a better speaker in the sense of being able to enunciate my words. I wish my diction was a little bit better. You probably hear how I talk. I grew up with a mother who is Japanese, broken English, and a father who is from the Bronx. I mean, I just grew up with just a smorgasbord of just kind of the English language, and so I say things that are a little bit different. So when I hear someone who I think that has this eloquent type of English or something, I go in those moments. But it's not about it's not about me building my confidence so I can be as good as that person. It's actually about me accepting myself. And I also learned that people like my authenticity. That's what people really like. And what you'll find out about confidence is that when you like yourself and you're authentic with yourself, people really resonate with you because most of us have some insecurities. So that's the power of like true confidence. Why are emotions and desires more important to achieve success? And let me tell you something about that. And that is, have you ever had an idea and then you started going into your head and you started getting caught up with the details, and then maybe it never came to fruition, or maybe you are a procrastinator, or you think you are. Maybe you lose the emotions and the desire and so forth. Well, in order for something to be followed through with, you have to have that. That's the backbone. That's the passion. That's the drive. That's the foundation. That is more important than anything else. And I'll tell you why. Is because, see, at the end of the day, the outcome is always going to be different. Things are not going to always turn out the way that you want. But if you're centered and connected to your power and those emotions and the desire which originally brought you back to why you created this business, you're able to stay in alignment because you feel good doing it. I'll give you an example. What if I were to have a slower week with clients, and I base my success or me doing well on how many people come through the door, and I was having a slower week? Would that mean I'm failing? But what happens for me is that I'm excited that I can work barefoot. I can connect to people like this. So I always remember the desire, the emotions. I get to do something that I love to do. So whatever you're trying to embark on, it's important that you have some center, and that you always are able to bring yourself back to the passion. That is why the power of emotions and desire is probably the most important thing to achieve success. So I'd love to share an exercise with you that's really good to help root you back into passion and also help you stay on track. And so this is called starting with an end in mind. And whenever you find yourself maybe feeling discombobulated with kind of like all the things you feel you need to do, go back to this exercise. And I hope that with these videos, you do remember these different exercises. I'm giving you a lot in all these videos. This is a great one to bring you back to that center. So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. So listen to my words here. What is the ultimate experience you would like to have when you achieve your goal? What is the feeling? What are you doing? What are you saying to yourself? What are others saying about you? And how do you look? In other words, just imagine it happening. Let go of the details. If you were to release that product, if you were to achieve that success, what would that lifestyle look like? What would your friends be saying to you? Your family, what would it feel like? That would be an example. Envision others benefiting from your products, business, and success. See others enjoying themselves by the value you offer them. So important that whatever it is that you do, people reap the benefits. They're experiencing your idea, your genius, your creation. What is that like? What is that experience like? Choose adjectives and statements that best describe the overall experience of the success with yourself and how you benefited others. Find the images that best encapsulate the entire experience. So put that all together. So imagine that experience. That is actually going to be your vision board. It's a little bit different now. It's a little bit different than the other vision board in which it was from a child's mind. And the way I want you to look at this is The vision board for the child's mind is about to get back the passion and playfulness that you can do anything that you want. This board is the same thing, but it's kind of where you like to be as an adult, like what that would look like, that lifestyle. And that would mean it might be a picture of you running on the beach. It might be you holding hands with someone because you want also a lover. It could be anything. I'm going to show you another vision board that I created that was kind of similar to this, what I just shared with you. When I was about to do my internship, you know, people were saying you're not going to get paid much. It's going to be arduous. There's so many things that you're going to have to do and so forth. And what I did is I envisioned myself being with someone who was in alignment with me, whether it was open space, whether it was just, they didn't treat me like a supervisor. And I created this vision board here. And keep in mind, it doesn't look like anything that would have to do with an internship. But right here is a dog to remind me of being playful. Right here is some koi fish that kind of, it connected me to like collaborating with a supervisor. There's also something that looks kind of feng shui here. You can't probably see here. It's a particular type of design. I like a house with that type of decoration. And here has this big open space with open windows to look outside. And I met a supervisor and two little dogs ran up to me, and her place was decorated this way, and she wanted to collaborate with me. And she was all these different things. And I created that. It was from that passion, it was from that excitement. So now of course this is for an internship. When you want your dream job, when you want maybe change the current situation that you're in, it should come from that place of that excitement. And with the end in mind, that is the best way to stay on your path, whatever it is that you're trying to create and build. What is my spiritual resume and why is it important? So what does that mean? This kind of leads back to your existence. And more than often people, they value themselves. Their self-worth is based on what is on the resume, what they have done and so forth. And they feel as though that an employer is going to look at that and that's how they're going to either get the job or not. While that is a truth in a linear world, do know that resumes end up at the right place at the right time with the right person looking at it. We are creating energy and space all the time where people are receiving that. Now, you could disbelieve this, but I'll tell you this, just like how I attracted that supervisor for the internship, that was I didn't send out a bunch of applications. And you got to keep in mind that it's not easy to get an internship like that, especially one that you get paid really well. And that's something I didn't share, is that actually it paid like $80,000 a year. That was the highest paying internship that existed, okay? And what I did was I sat with the experience. I connected to like my essence of who I am, and that this person is really going to like my energy, my spiritual self, who I am. You know, it's kind of like that part of you that someone who really knows you, they know your true essence, they see you. It's like that essence when you see a child and the child maybe is pre-verbal, but you see this child and you fall in love with him. So your spiritual resume is kind of like you kind of having a resume, if literally, or where you create it in your mind with it, and also on a vision board, where you meditate on that every day for a couple minutes. I know I've given you a lot of stuff, but if you see the sequence of everything, and I'm going to go through this again, you'll see how this all works together. So your spiritual resume is you. It's you. It's what you bring to the dance. It's what you bring that no one else can. It's your unique thumbprint into the universe. So how do I add value to my current job and why is it important? So wherever you are your walking, talking, breathing business card. How many times you've actually had good customer service and you think to yourself, I would actually hire this person? Or have you had an experience where there is more of an emotional connection with this person and it was business? You never know what is going to happen. Secondly, wherever you are, God shows up, Spirit shows up. What I'm trying to say is that you are there for some divine order, no matter what. Like, it's not always about business. So when you operate with that principle, you bring your best self to work. And when you bring your best self to work, better things show up, including change. So, I have had clients come to me where they're trying to make that career change, and they find out that they really missed a lot of great things are happening at their job. They're able to shift energy, and there was relationships that they needed to heal, and they did. And some of them stayed there, some of them moved on, some of them got promoted. But the thing is that they were exactly where they're supposed to be to learn something. So when you bring your best self forward, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're cleaning toilets or coaching like I am, you have to bring your best self forward. I would like to do one last exercise with you. And this exercise, you can close your eyes if you like. It's written out also, and I'm going to read it to you, but I'm explaining it a little bit more. And this can help fine-tune exactly what it is that you want, okay? And it might sound like the other exercises, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more specific, and it's actually probably a little bit more linear. I know that I've kind of had this more spiritual approach. Now this would be probably the more linear, and that is getting clear with your desire exercise. What do you desire? You might say more money, or a particular job. How will you recognize it when you attracted it in your life? How will you look? How will you feel? How will you carry yourself? What will your life look like? In other words, you might want to create something or attract something, but how do you know that when it arrives, how do you know? Oftentimes people get all those things that they want and they miss it because they're just so out of alignment with themselves. Do you understand what I mean? So how will you know? You need to know your little milestones of like how you're getting to that place. When do you want it? You might say that, oh, I want this career, and then you do this exercise, you're like, oh, not until 6 months now, or a year, or I have to do. There's some block that you're creating. That's why you're not attracting it. Okay, you should know when you want it. How will your desire result impact the aspects in your life? Like, how will it impact your life? How will it impact, your current circumstances? Very important to understand this, because sometimes people don't realize that there's a secondary gain staying stuck with whatever it is that they're doing. So, and that might be a block. If there's some, like for example, having this career might keep you from seeing your kids as much. So it's counseling that desire. So it's very important for you to know how it will impact your life. How will it impact others' lives? The next one. Meaning, like, you want things to impact people in a positive way. That's when there is a win-win in experience. What do you feel has blocked you from attracting your result? Like, for example, if this is something you've been doing for a while, what has blocked you? What has kept you from actually moving forward with this? What support and resources do you have now to assist you in attracting this, in creating this? Do you have friends? Do you have a coach? Do you have people to keep you accountable? People you can check in with so you can stay motivated and centered. Imagine seeing, feeling, hearing, and fully experiencing your desired outcome. Like, when you have all this, what would that experience be like? What would it be like? And this is something very important to know. And this is something that should be, again, in alignment with your vision board, the second one that I want you to do. So this is what we've done in this webinar. we've actually have identified your core beliefs regarding your perceptions with money, your career, and your path. We've done exercises for you to get clear with where that came from. We have learned what cognitive commitments are. We've created an exercise that would, I guess, counteract any negative beliefs and also shift your perceptions so you have a new template. We understand now what that song is inside of yourself. We've actually have connected to your passionate inner child to create a vision board that connects back to that imaginative, creative part of yourself. We have also talked about what true confidence is. We have also talked about the power of emotions and desires and why your vision board will help keep you in alignment with that. Also, your affirmation that, for example, mine was all that I do, I'm passionate about. When you say that every day and you start feeling it keeps you centered. We've done an exercise of starting with the end in mind, which helps you look at the bigger picture and to not get bogged down with all the details. And we've also have created a vision board that's in alignment with the bigger picture so you connect to the motions. We've gotten clear with what your spiritual resume is and who you are and what you are to do. Now I do know after watching this you might think, what is my calling? Well, it's there. It will come. It'll come through meditation. It'll come through these different exercises and being introspective and just being with yourself. We've also have talked about why it's so important to be your best self at your current situation where you work. And the last thing is just bringing it all together with getting clear with what you desire and making whatever you need to do happen now. And the very last exercise ties into that vision board. So as you see the sequence of how I created this webinar, it all works together. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to connecting to you more. And like I said in the beginning of this webinar, that this is something you can come back to again, and I'm sure you're going to learn more and more. Thank you so much.